This guy right here is David Sachs. He's a PayPal Mafia member and one of Silicon Valley's greatest investors. Invested in Meta, Uber, Airbnb, SpaceX, and Donald Trump just named him as the White House artificial intelligence and crypto czar. Now, what does that even mean? What is his stance on the crypto market, and why are you about to be so stinking rich that you're not even going to know what to do with yourself other than take long, expensive baths in piles of cash that you make from the crypto market this bull run cycle?
You got to make the money first. Then when you get the money, you get the power. Then when you get the power, then you get the woman. That's why you got to make your own moves.
But rather than just lounging around, stanking off your filthy gains here, I do have a warning for you that if you don't see crystal clear, you could miss out on massive opportunities, or even worse, lose a lot of money in these markets as we see trends in the digital asset industry grow from very low levels at the bear market bottom. We're going to show some data on the charts that shows how much juice Bitcoin and the rest of the altcoin market has left in the tank for this entire bull run. The Bitcoin to the US dollar price chart and what's most likely to happen going into Christmas and even after Christmas going into 2025. As right now, Bitcoin's price is at $99,777. We need to discuss the phases of the bull run and when alt season is really about to kick off. We just started the first leg of the race for the altcoin market, but you're about to discover some of the top altcoins that Donald Trump and his crypto mafia members are about to pump. So I'm going to discuss what those coins are with you in this video. Some of them are breaking out right now, so you do not want to miss some of these gems, because even with the recent rally that just took place in the market, there is still so much money left to be made on the next leg up for some of these projects that if you were to accumulate some of them right now, that 1 year from right now, you're going to look back at yourself and think, dang, I should have subscribed to the Bull Runners channel a lot sooner. So comment 777 if you're feeling blessed, if you're feeling bullish, and if you're going to become the first millionaire in your family tree. Confirm it by tapping the subscribe button. Let's run it. All right, bull runners, welcome back to the channel. So I got up this morning, didn't even have time to shower, didn't even have time to shave. I just had to jump right into the markets. I went to bed at 5 in the morning. So I got my coffee, I got my orange juice. It's time to make some money today. So let's dive into these altcoins and let's talk about what is happening in crypto, which projects, which narratives are going to see the most amount of liquidity injected into them. And quick disclaimer, yes, I do hold these altcoins. I'm only going to talk about what I believe in. That doesn't mean that you should. These videos are purely designed for education, informational purposes only. Do not buy, do not sell any of this. Crypto could go to zero overnight. You could lose all of your money, be living in a van down by the river. And as a full-grown adult that's watching this video, you take full responsibility for your own investment decisions. If these projects go down in value, I'm losing money too. So we're all a part of the same ship here. We understand the risks because volatility is the price we pay for opportunity. Now, as you guys know, Donald Trump won. He's being inaugurated January 20th. So I want to talk about my expectations going into January 20th and what's about to happen in the crypto market. Because this picture right here, this is David Sachs, right? He is a PayPal Mafia member, one of Silicon Valley's greatest investors in Meta, Uber, Airbnb, SpaceX. And here are 10 quotes that reveal his stance on Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market. Back in 2013, as Chamath Palihapitiya explained, he posted this on Twitter saying, Bitcoin has the potential to be the next internet, the internet of money. I am buying. So he is a holder of Bitcoin back when the price was just at $130. Since then, it's up over 76,000%. So this guy right here, along with Trump, has a vested interest in making sure that Bitcoin goes up in price. Why? Because he makes more money. So you can love that or hate it. I don't care. Nobody cares. What matters are the facts here, and that's what we're paying attention to in this video. The facts are his stance on Bitcoin is that he understands the importance of decentralized money and its role as a hedge against the fiat currency debasement of unlimited money printing from the Federal Reserve and the Treasury. Listen to this.
And I think the transformational part of Bitcoin is this idea that we could have non-fiat money, right? We just, as we're talking about with the Fed, there is a huge risk of currency debasement when the government is in control, and particularly when you have the world's reserve currency. There's just such an enormous temptation to print money to finance your budget and to rack up loans that become unpayable. We're at what, like 130% of GDP now we owe. So we owe an amount of money greater than the size of our entire economy or our economic output. That sounds very hard to repay to me. So the temptation will eventually be to monetize the debt away, basically to debase the currency to pay for this debt. That's always been a risk throughout history. And now what Bitcoin offers is a different kind of currency where it's not backed by a government, it's backed by math, it's backed by encryption. And so you don't have to trust the government that there will only be 21 million Bitcoin. It's in the code. And so you just have to trust that Bitcoin effectively won't be cracked. You just have to believe that the system is secure. And I think a lot of people might over time gradually think that's a better form of money.
So he's giving it the green light. And he even said the first Bitcoin miner has 1 million coins that are now worth 1 billion. I hope that Satoshi Nakamoto, because he, she, they deserve to be a billionaire. So he's producing a feature-length fictional film about Satoshi, saying the film will be akin to watching The Social Network without knowing who the Mark Zuckerberg character might actually be. Not only that, but talking about repressive countries and why moving money into Bitcoin is a better option than just storing it in fiat currency.
If you were in a country that had that with like a totalitarian government or something like that, or had export controls, or was extremely repressive, or was being invaded, going through a war, you'd want to move as much of your net worth into Bitcoin as you could, despite the price volatility.
Along with having Bitcoin as a potential to separate money and state.
It's what we're talking about. I didn't coin this phrase, but the separation of money and state. And if that happens, that would be as big an event as the separation of church and state. The church and state used to be intrinsically linked and combined. You couldn't really think about the two without them being together. Now we think about them being separate. I think money and state is kind of like that. We can't really think of money without the state, but Bitcoin, it's sort of this like sci-fi future where you could maybe have these two things decoupled.
Now, I know you clicked on this video because you're bullish on altcoins, and everybody knows you're not going to create generational wealth buying Bitcoin right now at nearly $100,000 this bull run cycle. Maybe in like 10 years, 20 years, you're going to make a lot of money from Bitcoin. The real money is made in altcoins. But listen to this.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a maximalist. I think that the case for Bitcoin is probably the strongest of all the cryptos, and the price and relative stability reflects that.
And after PayPal, he never thought he'd be interested in payments again. But when Bitcoin came along, he said Bitcoin is fulfilling PayPal's original vision to create the new world currency. So it's not just one soundbite from him that everyone is spinning around to make it seem like he's bullish on crypto. This guy is the crypto czar. He is the one that is going to be taking us to the moon.
The thing that like all these like critics don't seem to understand is the technology. That's the common denominator, whether it's like Howard Marks or Warren Buffett or Charlie Munger, whoever, they're all like great investors or whatever, but they're not technologists.
It's a blind spot,
It's a blind spot. And the thing they don't understand about the technology is that Bitcoin is the first digital asset to ever be created that you can't create infinite copies of, right? So think about like a song or a photo or a video or whatever, anything that's digital, you've always been able to make an infinite number of copies. Isn't that what the word digital means, is that it's infinitely copyable? So how do you have digital money that can't just be infinitely copied? Obviously, that would destroy the value. And that was the genius of Bitcoin, is that every transaction's written into this ledger, the blockchain is decentralized, and nobody over the last decade or so has figured out how to counterfeit Bitcoin, how to make a duplicate, how to double spend Bitcoin.
Now, he also recently just discussed the ruling regarding the Ripple and the XRP lawsuit that I'm going to play for you in a little bit. But before I do, I have to show you something that's absolutely incredible. Over the past month or two, we've been helping businesses get money back from a lawsuit that Visa and Mastercard lost that was over $5 billion. And so far, we've helped businesses that have processed over $328 million get qualified to receive back up to $9.9 million in credit card processing fees. So if you haven't heard about this yet, listen to this.
Hey bull runners, this is super time sensitive, especially if you're looking to stack more crypto before the bull run is over. Did you know that Visa and Mastercard lost a $5.5 billion class action lawsuit for imposing unfair fees on merchants and business owners? So if you own a business, or if you know any business owners that process payments with Visa or Mastercard between 2004 and 2019, that's 15 years, you could actually be owed a refund of 1 to 1.5% of your total revenue from that period That's a lot of money. For example, this business that generated 1.6 million in credit card revenue during those years is getting back $28,000. This business that generated over 7 million is getting back $93,000. And this business that generated over $20 million during those years is getting back over $320,000. That's money they didn't even know was on the table. And all they did was fill out a form through the link below this video. It literally takes less than a minute to see if you qualify, but you don't want to wait too long because the deadline to file is February 4th, 2025. So the sooner that you fill out the form below, the sooner that you can reclaim what's rightfully yours. Plus, if you don't have a business, you can actually earn 3% by referring businesses that do qualify by creating your affiliate account through the link below. So this is a no-brainer way to get money back in your pocket to use for your business, or if you want to use it for crypto or other assets to invest in, you can do that. So click the link below. Let's get you paid.
Now, check this out. The U.S. Treasury Department released a report calling Bitcoin digital gold, saying the primary use case for it seems to be a store of value, and efforts to leverage blockchain and distributed ledger technology to develop new applications and improve the legacy financial market clearing and settlement infrastructure. Now, does that sound similar to Ripple XRP? Well, right here, according to CoinMarketCap, with digital assets witnessing rapid growth from a small base, the growth has come from native coins like Bitcoin and Ethereum, as well as stablecoins and some other large cap altcoins. And if you think you're late, the digital asset market cap remains relatively low compared to other financial and real assets. And growth thus far does not seem to have cannibalized demand for treasuries in other markets. So as more money gets printed, as M2 and global liquidity increases, well, a rising tide lifts all ships. And the ship that is the most undercapitalized is the one that is going to see the most momentum. That's the crypto market, because right now, if you go to coinmarketcap.com, in the upper left-hand corner, you can see the market cap of this industry is $3.67 trillion. Now, if we go to ChatGPT and we say the market cap of the entire crypto industry is $3.67 trillion, compare that to every other major industry on the planet to put it into perspective how small that is. ChatGPT is saying the global stock market capitalization is around $100 trillion as of 2024. Crypto represents about 3.7% of the global stock market. Real estate is around 326 trillion, so crypto is 1.1% of that. Gold is 13 trillion. Crypto is about 28% of the size of the gold market. Technology companies like Apple is $3 trillion. The entire crypto industry is just a little bit above Apple's valuation. You know, you got FANG companies combined like Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google. It's like 7 to 8 trillion. So with the entire crypto industry and thousands of altcoins representing 50% of just the top 5 companies, on top of the global bond market being at 133 trillion, crypto's 2.8% of that. Global GDP, crypto represents 3.5% for that. You got the oil and gas industry, pharmaceutical industry, luxury goods that are going to be tokenized, real world assets, US national debt as well too. This is actually outdated, so these numbers are probably larger because US national debt, according to the USDebtClock.org, is over $36 trillion. ChatGPT says it's only $33 trillion. So crypto represents 11% of the US national debt. When you look at broad money supply, M2 at around 130 trillion, crypto's 2.8% of the global money supply. So according to artificial intelligence, the crypto market is still in its infancy compared to most major industries and asset classes. And while $3.67 is pretty substantial, you know, for us peons that don't have that first $1 trillion in our bank account yet, it pales in comparison to what traditional markets like real estate, bonds, and stocks have done. So over the next few decades, this industry is going to grow into the tens of trillions of dollars. But no one wants to wait 10 years or 20 years to get rich. They want to get rich this cycle. So how much time is left in this cycle? Well, according to CryptoCon right here, data is showing that Bitcoin probably has a lot more in the tank than some people think. The bull run bounce on the check-in money flow was successful. And now, as expected, the metric has retraced to the 0.35 overheated line that you can see right here at the bottom of the screen, but it hasn't crossed yet. That's important because it tells us there are still 2 tops to go in this cycle. In many ways, the price action looks similar to early 2017 when Bitcoin had yet to break above all-time highs. So when we saw Donald Trump get elected, we see this bull run bounce from 0 on this green line right here and this purple line at the top where it shows overheated. We were just recently rejected from it with that $103,000 high as Bitcoin ranges just slightly below 100K at the time of making this video. So if we look back in the past when Bitcoin broke above 40K, look at number 2 right here for the first cycle top. And then we saw that major correction in that like 50-60% drop for Bitcoin and altcoins after Bitcoin 2x from 20 to 40K. And then we saw the final top for point number 3, even the cycle before then for point number 2 above the high. We rally up above the overheated line, we come back down, then we see a final blow off top. So each bull run cycle, we've seen 3 points where it's breached above this overheated 0.35 purple line for the mid-cycle overheat point, for the first cycle top, and for the final cycle top. Now, we didn't technically see a 0.35 cross right here. And so on the next leg up for Bitcoin, as we rally up past the $103,000 high, what's going to happen next for altcoins is going to be absolutely insane. So we can see this ascending support since the 12th of November that Bitcoin has been rejecting and bouncing off of to the upside multiple times. One point of contact right there, another point of contact right there, another point of contact right here. This leverage wick that was flushing out a lot of long traders right here technically went below it, but we could consider that a rejection because it was bought up very, very quickly. So Bitcoin could chop within this range. You know, we could see a sell-off back down to this ascending support, but as long as this trend line holds, then this is just simply a bullish channel where if we were to connect the highs right here and draw this channel down to the lows, anything within this channel is bullish. Now, if we were to break this ascending support and simultaneously we were to drop below $93,000, the support that we need to hold is around $90,800-ish. If we drop below that, the last line of defense is really this zone right here at like $86,000. So the thesis for the bull run is still intact. Bitcoin looks very, very bullish, and Bitcoin's dominance is sitting around 55%. It dropped from 61%. So if we zoom out here on the daily chart for Bitcoin's dominance, look at this massive red candle to the downside. So it's very similar to what we saw happen back here after the 3rd of January when Bitcoin's dominance topped out. We saw this first initial dump from Bitcoin, and if we bring up on the horizontal chart and just marked when Bitcoin's dominance topped out, and we marked that on total 2, which is every single altcoin, and we line that up, look what happened on that breakdown. Altcoin market rallied up, and then right here, while Bitcoin's dominance was holding on for dear life, trying not to fall off of a shelf, the altcoin market went through a little bit of a consolidation phase right here. You know, we saw this dip of about 31%, and then it just continuously formed higher lows, higher highs until Bitcoin fell off of a shelf by like the 29th of March. That's when the altcoin market escalated from 600 billion all the way up here to 1.5 trillion dollars during this entire phase when Bitcoin's dominance was in a free fall. And so I would expect it to play out somewhat similar, you know, for Bitcoin's dominance to hold on for dear life as the altcoin market continuously marches higher. Even if we see a pullback, kind of similar to what we saw happen like right here during this phase, you know, 10, 20, 30% pullback, nothing too crazy. I would just continuously expect the altcoin market to form some type of blow off top before a much deeper correction. And then for us to roll over going into Q4 of 2025 to 2026 for the next bear market. So yes, you are a little late to the game. You know, when we were making videos all the way back here, we were accumulating the bear market bottom. We were buying up this dip right here. In fact, I made this post about a week ago inside of Altcoin Pro University that you guys can get started with through the link in the description below. And right here in this image, you can see around the summer of 2024, when we saw this wick off of this previous zone of resistance to act as support, that was the disbelief rally where people thought that it's going to fail just like the others and it's a sucker's rally, when in reality, if we go to the chart, you can see right here, that was literally the best time to accumulate some of your favorite altcoin projects that you have high conviction in, because since that point, we are up over 100% or a 2x for the entire market. And some projects are up even 3x, 4x, 5x or more. Now, I do want to err you on the side of caution here, because since the 4th of November, you can see if I zoom in here, we've seen one bullish green candle, another bullish green candle, another bullish green candle, another bullish green candle, another bullish green candle. So eventually there will be a correction here soon. So what I want to do is share some projects with you that I think are going to be the best projects when that dip comes, that I'm personally going to accumulate some more of to ride that next wave up when Bitcoin's dominance at the top of the screen finally does fall off a shelf and drops closer to 40%. So if you guys want more analysis in detail from our research team and some posts that I make as well too, then join Altcoin Pro University below. Check this out and you'll see some detailed breakdowns comparing things like Bitcoin's dominance, the crypto market cap, where we are in the cycle day by day for this entire bull run. So this is how the bull run cycle went last cycle. Now there are some similarities this cycle, but phase one is always money flows into Bitcoin causing price surge. And we've seen that with Donald Trump getting inaugurated, and now he's assembling his Mafia, his team of crypto bandits. So money flows into Bitcoin first, we see the price rally. Then we see phase two of the cycle where money flows into Ethereum and it starts outperforming Bitcoin, and we hear talks of the flippening. Now, we are starting to see Ethereum break out from the 6th of November. It's sitting at $4,000 right now, right at the high that it was at since March. And so while Bitcoin is breaking out, Ethereum is still lagging behind a little bit. Ethereum hasn't passed its all-time high, whereas if we bring it up compared to Bitcoin, look on the right-hand side of the screen, this resistance right here that Bitcoin was struggling to break its all-time high, and it was getting rejected from since March alongside Ethereum. See, Ethereum sold off harder than Bitcoin did. So I think a lot of people are counting Ethereum out. At the end of October, look at Bitcoin broke that resistance, and now Bitcoin is sitting around $100,000, whereas Ethereum is still behind its all-time high and the high of March if we were to draw this resistance over here by about 22%. So Ethereum has to play catch up to Bitcoin. And if we look at the Ethereum to the Bitcoin price chart and we put it on a weekly chart time frame, you can see what happened every time we've gone from orange to yellow, pairing it up with the Bitcoin stock to flow rainbow indicator. So Ethereum has been underperforming Bitcoin ever since November of 2021. Now, this is not out of the ordinary because as you can see back here, when we were at light green, even yellow to basically orange before we went to yellow, Ethereum was underperforming Bitcoin during the last cycle. The cycle before then, the same thing. Going from orange to yellow, we saw Ethereum underperforming Bitcoin. It wasn't until we flipped from orange to yellow that we saw Ethereum outperform Bitcoin. Flipping from orange to yellow, even with these short-term temporary pullbacks, you see this break of resistance, hold it as support backtest, and then we see Ethereum absolutely explode right here. We see Ethereum absolutely explode right here. Now, what just happened? Well, we just flipped from orange to yellow. So what I would expect to happen as we head into phase two of money flowing from Bitcoin into Ethereum is I would expect Ethereum to play some catch up. We see this descending resistance right here. And so my expectation for Ethereum is a rally up to this resistance, for Ethereum to start outperforming Bitcoin, potentially consolidating out of it, break, hold it as support. And then before we get to light green, to see some type of big move for Ethereum, just like we saw right here where these arrows are pointing. Now, what that looks like is just Ethereum outperforming Bitcoin and people start making more money rotating into Ethereum. Now, smart investors understand that, just like I said, you're not going to create generational wealth in Bitcoin buying it $100,000. You're a little late this cycle. You would have been better buying when I was making videos at the bear market bottom when I accumulated Bitcoin at 16,700. But the smartest investors rotated that into mid-cap altcoins that were undervalued, and even a lot of large cap altcoins, because money flows into the large caps first. You don't want to just go to the low market cap altcoins and buy up all of them too early this cycle, unless you're okay with waiting like a couple years for them to take off. But we see a phase overlap where money starts to trickle into other large caps, where we see large buy-ups happening because people realize that Ethereum's a little high in market cap. There's some better projects out there that are around, $500 million, $1 billion that look good. So this phase three, Ethereum has been outperforming Bitcoin and larger caps are going parabolic during this phase of the cycle. For example, from March of 2021, we go back to March of 2017. And so could we see March of 2025, the altcoin market start to outperform with Ethereum? Because if we put up the horizontal chart right here for Ethereum to Bitcoin's price chart, and we bring up total 2 in comparison to it, and also stack on the Bitcoin stock to flow rainbow indicator, you can see right here at the top of the screen and the bottom of the screen, when Ethereum went from orange to yellow before going to light green, Ethereum was outperforming Bitcoin each and every single time. Even though the last cycle wasn't as parabolic as 2017, look at both the cycles at the bottom of the screen. The crypto total market cap, excluding Bitcoin, absolutely erupted. And if you would have capitalized on that growth, you could have seen some significant gains. Now, this cycle, we just started the first initial leg up for alt season. So we're kind of just getting started. We're kind of like where we were right here. So in my opinion, there's a little bit further up to go in the short term, and then we see a little cool off phase like this, and then we see the final leg of the altcoin market. So it would look something like this, where we could push up a little bit higher because we've seen back-to-back weekly bullish candles. We see a little consolidation, maybe a little pullback back down to this previous zone right here at around $1.3 trillion as support. It's definitely possible. And then for us to continue the bullish momentum to the upside as Ethereum outperforms Bitcoin on the ETH to the Bitcoin price chart. Then we see the money flow in the phase interlap right here, where regardless of market cap, some altcoins with strong fundamentals are having pumps. And then phase 4, the final phase of the cycle, large caps have gone fully vertical, and we're seeing blow off tops. Mid caps, low caps, micro caps all tend to pump around the same time. Everything goes up. We enter into easy mode. Everyone starts making money. Everyone thinks they're a genius. It seems every coin is parabolic regardless of fundamentals. Memes are everywhere, and everyone is super excited, and you feel the mania and euphoria in the air. So I'm just going to rapid fire some projects for you guys. And then if you want other projects that are a little bit lower cap as well too, you can join Altcoin Pro University below. Our research team is 24/7 digging into these markets and posting the top picks. But one of the main ones is Dogecoin. You know, this was very easy to see when Elon Musk was pitching Department of Government Efficiency all the way back here down at these levels when Dogecoin was at like 15, 20 cents. And look at what Dogecoin is doing right now. It continuously forms higher lows. It keeps pushing up and tapping this resistance right here at roughly like 46 cents. And so the more times we come in contact with either a support or a resistance, the weaker it gets. So for example, you know, the support right here all the way down the 16th of November at 34 cents. We can see right here at 36 cents, point of contact, another point of contact right here. And then it deviated off of it to form even higher lows. And now we're tapping the resistance for like the 4th time within this zone right here. So even if we get rejected from this resistance, we come back down to stay within this zone. Eventually, I would expect Dogecoin to break the resistance, hold it as support, and continue to the upside because Elon Musk is just going to keep posting about it. If we zoom out here on the weekly chart and we put up the Bitcoin stock to flow rainbow indicator, look at what happened every single cycle when we transition from orange to yellow. We saw the first initial sell-off right here, then a massive parabolic rally, followed by a cool-off period, another rally as we finish up the final stage of yellow. Then we transition to light green for that dip, and then going from light green to light blue is the final rally in the bull run, and that came after September 2017 until January of 2018. Now let's go to the last cycle. Look at what happened when we went from orange to yellow. We saw a first initial little sell-off. We saw this rally all the way up here, correction, and then as we finished up this phase in yellow going to light green, the final rally in March of 2021 until 3rd of May, and then we go into the bear market. So what we're doing right now for Dogecoin is this first initial rally up, and then what I would expect to see is some type of correction, some type of pullback, and then for us to have a blow off top going from yellow to light green to top out somewhere, maybe $1, $2, $3. We'll see where Dogecoin tops out. And then we see a massive sell-off, and then we go into a bear market leading into 2026. So yes, you did miss the opportunity to accumulate Dogecoin right here. If there is another dip for Dogecoin in the short term to come back down, I would look between 30 to 35. Dogecoin is just going to be one of the proven large cap meme coins that has been around for multiple cycles. So yes, I do hold Dogecoin in my portfolio. Now, as you guys know, the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit is coming to a conclusion. So of course, Ripple's on the list. And look at what David Sachs said about Ripple and XRP.
Ripple sales of XRP do not constitute offer of investment contracts, according to Judge. They won. This is a huge vindication for them. And the XRP is ripping 35%.
Yeah. And it really handcuffs the SEC. What are they going to do about Coinbase and every other exchange? I mean, if they're not selling securities, I think Coinbase and everybody else has always maintained they're selling tokens. This was the fulcrum argument for the SEC, and they just lost.
The whole crypto market is ripping right now.
Looking at this chart right here, XRP is about at $2.50. It broke from this descending resistance, and we see this ascending support right here. So there's a few scenarios that could take place. You know, if XRP pulls back to $2.35, I'd expect to bounce off of this ascending support. We could hold roughly $2.45 before continuing higher, or we break out, get rejected from the resistance at roughly $2.70, consolidate sideways, and continue higher. Either way, XRP is looking absolutely incredible. The fact that it's still below its all-time high, the lawsuit's coming to a conclusion, Gary Gensler stepping down, we got Ripple launching their stablecoin once they get regulatory approval for that. potential XRP ETF coming. The bullish catalyst for XRP is the reason why it's one of the largest positions in my portfolio. Now, another altcoin that is a little high right now, but I think it's just going to continue to do well this entire bull run. And it's one of the front running layer ones alongside Solana that I think will outperform Solana, and that is Sui. Now, I was making videos and I was posting Sui in our private Telegram group that you guys can get in below through the link, all the way back when it was around $1, because what we saw happen here for Sui is we saw this descending resistance right here break around August. We got rejected from this zone of resistance. We came back down. We didn't quite back test, this descending resistance, but usually we see these breakout patterns take place where, we see a massive sell-off. We just get rejected from a descending resistance, forming lower highs, lower lows. We bottom out, and then we see a reversal attempt take place where it breaks resistance, but it gets rejected multiple times, like you can see right here. So you don't just buy the breakout, you buy the back test. And again, I'm not telling you to buy Sui right now. I'm just telling you what I look for. So I was accumulating Sui all through this level right here. And then once I saw this breakout take place, I was accumulating a lot around $1 at this phase, because this was telling me that the markets had reversed and we were more than likely about ready to rally up to the high. And then we see consolidation at the high, and then we see a break of the high. So Sui just continues to march higher. Now, if you miss Sui and you don't like accumulating at highs and you like accumulating relatively low, one project that I think is undervalued that's looking like Sui's chart at the high is Ondo. Now, Ondo is one of the leading real world asset projects. And if I erase this Sui chart right here and I just go ahead and I draw this zone of resistance at the high where it got rejected from and consolidated for a period of time, Ondo is looking very similar to that, where if I just draw the same zone of resistance right here, a little bit above the high, obviously it's taking place. So Ondo could chop within this range for a period of time, similar to what happened to Sui right back here from like October to November, where it rallied up above the high and saw a sell off and chop for a bit, and then broke out rapidly into price discovery. And so for Ondo, I would just expect Ondo to chop for a bit. Maybe it comes back down to back test the high at $1.50. Definitely watch that area right here and consolidates. But eventually, I would expect Ondo to make a move back into price discovery and then consolidate somewhere higher than it is right now. Because as you can see, we see the same pattern play out. We see lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower low, lower high, lower low. We break a descending resistance. We get rejected from a previous zone that acted as support multiple times. Rejection number one, right here, rejection number two right here, and then we see a sell-off back test of this descending resistance, also forming a higher low right here. We rebound off of it, we break resistance, we back test it as support, and then we continue higher. So I was accumulating Ondo right around these levels right here on the breakout in the back test. That was really key. And so I'm up big on my Ondo position right here. Now, I do think Ondo is going to continue to the upside. So if you keep this project on your watch list, just look for any potential back tests of the previous all-time high. But with how bullish Bitcoin is, if Bitcoin breaks out and goes into price discovery and Ethereum starts breaking out, we might not see that. That's why Ondo is holding this very tight range right here between $1.62 upwards of $1.90. So if we just consolidate within this tight range and we continue to the upside into price discovery, waiting for massive dips rather than playing the long game and just zooming out and seeing where these projects are going to be long term, especially the real world asset space going into over $10 trillion by 2030, Ondo is going to be one of my multi-bull run plays. Now, Ondo is going to be one of the projects that I'm taking profits on at the end of this bull run, because I do think there is going to be a nasty bear market coming at the end of 2025, going into 2026. But this project is looking good, and I think we're going to continue higher going into Inauguration Day. Now, another major ISO compliant project is XLM. XLM is looking absolutely incredible right now as XRP, saw a bounce off of its ascending support. Same with XLM. It's in a macro symmetrical triangle right here. So we could coil up in this triangle for as long as need be, the closer that we get to this apex right here. But eventually, if this support holds at 45 cents and we don't see just something catastrophic happen in the market to take it down below the final stop at like 41 cents right here, then I would just expect it to coil up in the symmetrical triangle and see a continuation to the upside with this macro trend. Because come March, I made a video about this telling you guys, prepare for what the Federal Reserve is doing in March as they implement the ISO standard across the United States. So that's why we're seeing the ISO standard projects rally. And I think XLM has the potential to outperform XRP. And if I zoom out here on the weekly chart, you can see that we see a similar formation. We see this descending resistance right here. We see lower lows, lower highs, lower low, lower high, and then we see it bottom out. We see attempt at a reversal, get rejected from a previous zone that was support as resistance, and then we see a bottom out, right? So point of contact number 1 right here, resistance, point of contact number 2 right here, and then we see XLM bottom out. So I was accumulating XLM and XRP all the way down here and all the way down here. I wasn't necessarily waiting for a breakout and back test because I just knew that this project was going to do well because of what was coming for the ISO standard and what I was covering with you guys every single day. So give this video a like, subscribe to the channel if you hold XLM, because where we are right now is we're just facing a little bit of resistance near the complacency stage high and the all-time high. So I would just expect XLM to just coil up within this range and then a test and an attempt at the high, whether we get rejected from the high and just consolidate even more, or we break right through the high. Either way, I would expect XLM to go into price discovery this bull run cycle. And what we're seeing happen right now at the previous high is similar to what we saw happen right here for Sui as Sui broke out and attempted to retest the all-time high. We just saw pricey, choppy price action right here, a final back test of $1.70, and then working our way through here to break out into price discovery for a new high. This is what I'm seeing on the XLM price chart as well too. So nobody knows exactly how choppy this price action is going to be in the short term. You know, if it looks something like this before we break out to the upside, but you have to be ready before the next move takes place because it's rapid, it's sudden, and you don't have much time to prepare. Because if I zoom in here on Sui's price chart, look at how quick this move was. Right here from the 9th of November when Sui was at $2.22, it took 7 days and it shot up over 75%. That's almost a 2x in 7 days, in less than a week. So people get chopped out during these boring ranges right here that take a long period of time and virtually nothing happens. For example, on this breakout right here, you know, you would be pretty much a break even 42 days later and like up 1% or 2% from the 24th of September to the 5th of November. And then if you would have just held your positions, boom, in 7 days, you're up almost a 2x. So I know it's tempting when you see something rallying quick to sell what you've been holding that's going through, you know, a phase like this where it's long, it's boring, you've been waiting 30 days, nothing's happening with it. And then you would literally be selling out a lot of your positions right here before they explode and make the next leg up. And then you start rotating into something else that has already made its rally and is up 200, 300%. For example, look at HBAR. Yes, HBAR is a great project. I'm not accumulating more HBAR right now. I was buying HBAR all the way down here at like 5 to 6 cents because we saw this massive breakout, and now HBAR, you know, is going through some sort of consolidation phase right now before potentially continuing to the upside if we see Bitcoin break out, Ethereum break out, and the rest of the altcoin market break out. Remember, guys, this is predicated on Bitcoin doing well. If Bitcoin crashes below 100K, then altcoins are going to bleed out even harder, and some of these projects that are up, like HBAR, like XLM or XRP, that have already seen, you know, an 800% rally over the past month, they could crash as much as 50, 60%, because look how far HBAR has to the downside, 60% to come back down to backtest this zone as support. So it's very possible that something like that happens. So by no means am I telling you to just go FOMO into these projects right now. These are projects that I'm holding for the long term that I think are going to do well. And even during this bull run cycle, I think they still have massive potential. Like another one is Algorand. You know, Algorand is creeping up back to its previous high of 2021 at about $18. So I think Algorand has more room to run this bull run cycle. And what we see happen on these charts like this is we just see it constantly make higher highs, higher lows, work its way through here, and then we see, boom, some type of bullish move where, just like I showed you with Sui, in less than a week, it surges up really fast and it starts to go vertical, similar to what we saw happen like right through here, through this phase right there. Or bam, right here, we break out to new high, or bam, right here, we start going vertical. So we're getting very, very close to that phase in this rising wedge if we draw the trend lines. Now, we don't need to be exact here, but we see it start to coil up until something breaks, and that's either the resistance or that's a support to do something like this. Or when the resistance breaks, it's usually a sudden move to the upside, going to price discovery, and then we see a sharp pullback and then some sort of consolidation that lasts a week, a month, 6 months, etc. So if you want to learn how to place proper trades, what's going to happen with each of these projects on the daily basis, and what other projects we're bullish on that are a little bit lower market cap, they are higher risk, but they have yet to see their explosive rally like Dogecoin back at 11 cents or 10 cents all the way back here during this phase before Elon Musk started pumping Dogecoin, then listen to this.
Our research team posted GOAT on the 13th of October of 2024 when it was right at a penny, and since then it rallied to over $1 and is currently still up over 5,000%. That's like turning $1,000 into over $50,000. Our team called Pendle at only a $16 million market cap or 16 cents back on February 18th of 2023, all the way back here, and since then it's rallied up over 4,000%. That's a 40x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $40,000. Our team also called BitTensor Tau September 15th, 2022, before the token was ever even launched. And since then, Tau has rallied over 2,000%. That's a 20x. Our team even said Solana is most likely to be one of the easiest trades next year, and this was posted December 29th, 2022, on the day that Solana bottomed out at around $8. And since then, Solana looks like it's up over 2,500%. That's a 25x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $25,000. And the bull run is just getting started. The list goes on and on and on. Our team called Sui, Ondo, and even some of the biggest cult-based meme coins like MOG back in July 20th of 2023, the day that MOG launched. So if you want to learn how our team is finding these altcoins before they explode, we just launched Altcoin Pro University, where our research team gives you real-time altcoin picks with explosive potential for this bull run, along with 100+ expert curated classes crafted by industry experts to discover these gems yourself, on top of our live weekly calls every single week for in-depth crypto market analysis and daily updates. And that's just a fraction of what we offer inside of Altcoin Pro University through the link below. And although we make no guarantees because crypto is definitely risky, guys, this is only $97 a month or $970 a year. If you want to save $194, getting 2 months for free and unlock some exclusive bonuses, just go through the link in the description below. Get in right now. Watch the 26-minute video covering everything that Altcoin Pro University offers to help you become the first millionaire in your family tree. If that's a goal of yours, our goal is to help 1,000 members set their portfolio up for life this month. And you can get started through the link in the description below right now, or you can go to bullrunners.com to take advantage of the bonuses we're giving you before they expire. We have about 200 members right now, and we literally just launched like less than 5 days ago at the time of making this video. Everyone is loving the community. They're loving the education. They're getting access to real-time altcoin picks first before we ever make videos about them. So click the link in the description below, watch the video, and I'll see you on the inside.